What is up, boys and girls of the internet? Today we're going to be talking about jury nullification. Before you say, didn't CRS just do a video on jury nullification? Yes, he did. He wanted me to give my opinion, and that is what I am doing. I haven't watched his video. He hasn't watched mine, but I do think he's going to say that it could nullify gun laws, and he is probably right on that. So we're probably going to have more in common than we don't, but I'm going to go over a little history of jury nullification, and then we'll see how it applies to gun laws. All right, with that said, let's dig into it. What is up, people of the interwebs? My name is John Crump. I am the Virginia Director of Gun Owners of America, Washington's only no-compromise gun lobby. I am also an investigative journalist. I concentrate on 2A issues, and I concentrate on stuff like the ATF, FBI, and other organizations that want to violate your rights, as well as the industry that lies to you. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about jury nullification. Jury nullification is when a jury rules that someone is innocent not because they didn't violate the law, but they believe the law is unjust. A jury cannot be found guilty of jury nullification, and they cannot get in trouble for jury nullification because they cannot be punished for coming to a wrong conclusion. And in the United States, there is no double jeopardy, so the defendant cannot be tried again. If a pattern of jury nullification develops, that law is usually invalidated. Lawyers really can't push for jury nullification in most states, and prosecutors never can push for jury nullification because that could be very dangerous. So, let's get into some historical examples of jury nullification. Just starting with the United States, we had something called the Fugitive Slave Act before the Civil War. Basically, what the Fugitive Slave Act did was punish people for helping slaves escape. A lot of abolitionists correctly believed that the law was unjust, and therefore they used jury nullification to find people who actually violated the law innocent. And I, for one, I agree with that. If you want to go even further back, let's go to the colonies. Before the United States was a thing, a lot of colonists would use jury nullification to find their fellow colonists innocent of violating English law because they didn't believe in English law, because they viewed it as tyrannical and they viewed it as draconian in a lot of cases. But let's go even further back. Let's go to 1215, where the jury really first got its power through the Magna Carta. That set up jury nullification, but we really wouldn't see jury nullification until like 1649, when a jury found John Lilburne innocent of inciting a rebellion against the Cromwell regime in England. That was the first example of jury nullification that we can really pin down. There might be others, but that's the first one that is very, very well documented. And again, in 1688, we see jury nullification pop up again. There was a very famous case of 7 bishops from the Church of England being found innocent for sedition against the crown. That was done through jury nullification. A lot of legal experts really don't like jury nullification, but all we have to do is look to 1969, when the Fourth Circuit, in a case, I think it was U.S. versus Moylan, I think U.S. versus Moreland, where they affirmed the right of a jury to nullify an unjust law. That doesn't mean you can't be removed. In some states, you can be removed from a jury if they believe that you are planning on using jury nullification. So just keep that in mind. You can be removed. If you're planning to do jury nullification, you might not want to tell people that you are doing jury nullification because you can be removed. And that was affirmed in the United States versus Thomas, which was a 1997 case where they said, yes, you can be removed. There are certain states where jury nullification is 100% okay and it's enshrined in those states' constitutions. That includes states like New Hampshire and Indiana. Okay. With that said, that's a little history, a little rundown of jury nullification. Now let's talk about how that could be applied to gun laws. Let's say you are sitting on a jury for someone who is guilty of violating the NFA. You can be guilty of an unjust law, but let's say you do believe the NFA is an unjust law. Yet you can be guilty of an unjust law, but that doesn't mean you have to come to the right conclusion of the person being guilty of an unjust law. You can say the law is unjust, so he is innocent, even though he violated the law. That is a classic example of jury nullification. So you can say this guy who violated the NFA is innocent because the NFA is an unjust law. It's probably what I would do. I would never convict or actually say someone is guilty of violating the NFA because I personally believe the NFA is an unjust law. Also, let's say someone is in a state where they have a some type of firearms permit and they get caught with a firearm without having a permit. I could say I believe permits are unjust and I am going to cast my vote in this jury for innocence. I'm going to affirm this guy's innocence because the law is unjust. That can undo the law if it happens enough time. The law can be ruled invalid because everyone keeps on nullifying the law through the jury. So that's basically what jury nullification is. Can it be used to invalidate firearms laws? Yes, it can. It can definitely be used to invalidate firearms laws. The thing is, will it? I kind of doubt that it will because the amount of times that the law has to be nullified through a jury is a lot. And I don't think that we can get enough people on juries to nullify the law. There are other people who are two-way advocates who just don't believe in jury nullification. They believe that you need to rule on the facts and you shouldn't take into consideration whether the law is just or not. And that's their right. And there's a lot of history to say that is the right decision. For me, that's not the right decision, but I can see their point of view. But yeah, so that is my quick, dirty, and simple explanation and my views on jury nullification. I'm curious to see what CRS has to say about that, and with that, I'm going to go watch it. Now, if you like what I do here, like, comment, and subscribe. I have a join button on my live channel. Check it out, John Crump Live. And once again, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/John Crump. It not only goes to fund this channel, but it also goes to fund my live channel, and it goes to fund my reporting, my FOIA request. I have a couple lawyers that I use to actually file FOIAs, and that isn't exactly cheap. So, yeah. Help me do the things that I do to get information and to get leaks. John Crump, too. And all the extra money goes to projects where there's really not extra money. I'm actually running a negative. But with that said, I'm John Crump, and with that, you have been informed. So go ahead, stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, keep in the fight, and I am out. Peace.